Now, Zhukov, it may be a brilliant strategist and pretty good at operations, but tactically he uses his forces like a bludgeon. The Russians have what they call bloody generals and not so bloody generals. Really, that's what they call. And Zhukov is up there at bloody general, but he's still an icon. I made the mistake in 1995 of entitling my book on Operation Mars, Zhukov's Greatest Defeat. I was persona non grata in Russia for 5 years until Putin came in and said, hey, he was right. And I became, suddenly all my books were published in Russian. I'm retired Colonel David Glantz. My favorite Russian front commander is Rokossovsky. He was a Pole, or a Belarusian, and it's hard to tell the difference. And never got the credit due to him, but he was probably the most skilled of all. He also had a heart, at a time when having a heart might have cost the Soviet Union its survival. Because when you see Zhukov appear, it's first in September at Leningrad. And his first order, as the Germans kind of coming over Pulkova Heights into the end of the terminus of the tramway, Zhukov says, attack! And the commander says, I can't attack. I don't have any forces. Everything, we're in terrible shape. You're fired. Another one comes in, he says, attack. He attacks. And they attack, and they attack, and they attack, and they attack, and they take horrendous losses. But guess what? It draws a German Panzer Division over there, and that's the Panzer Division. They needed to go through Pulkova. That's Zhukov, okay? You get thrown into emergency at Moscow. What does he do when he comes into Moscow? And the Germans are opening Typhoon, the last stage in November, and start driving toward Moscow. He orders Rokossovsky's 16th Army, which has just been through all kinds of hell, orders them to counterattack, and orders another army south to counterattack. Rokossovsky says it's suicidal. Counterattack. He counterattacks. It is suicidal. Heavy losses, but you know what? He blunts 2 German Panzer divisions and bloodies them. I think one of them is the 10th. And they can't go any further. It's that mentality Zhukov has of getting into a crisis and doing something really nasty, but it works. It costs a lot of lives, but it saves them at Leningrad, it saves them at Moscow, it saves them at Stalingrad. Kursk was his design. That was a good one. That worked pretty well. And you'll find, if you look at Zhukov's record through the entire war, it is a mixture of callousness, but acute strategic sensibility that lets him to do things that saves him. Now, I started all this just by saying Rokossovsky was my favorite front commander. What would he have done at Moscow? He might not have done what was necessary. And they might have been fighting from Ryazan instead of Moscow. Ryazan's just to the east. Anyway, if you come back again, we'll do it again anytime you want.